Sri Kumaraswamy College, Ausa, takes the occasion of International E-Conference as an opportunity to welcome all the honorable dignitaries, participants, and delegates here at the virtual platform. Today, we all have gathered here for the International E-Conference. The topic of International E-Conference is Move Beyond Boxes and Shine. The college, Sri Kumaraswamy College, Ausa, is affiliated to Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. The college is undertaking many innovative activities for the benefit and enrichment of students, researchers, teachers, academicians, intellectuals, and all stakeholders. The objective behind organizing world record series of webinars and international conferences is to exchange knowledge of different topics and subjects among the participants and intellectuals. All these things are going very well with lot of success and without any break. And it is due to the Honorable Chief Organizer, Chairperson, Principal Dr. M. Bedkar sir, who is taking lot of efforts to continue all these innovative activities. At the outset of this International E-Conference, I welcome you, sir, as the chairperson of today's International E-Conference. Today, I feel immense pleasure to inform all the delegates and participants that we have among us having Honorable Dignitary Susannah Dawn Oregon Ma'am from United States, who is going to enlighten us on the topic Move Beyond Boxes and Shine. All the participants from India and abroad are eager to listen the keynote speech by the chief guest. So I do not wish to stand between the keynote speaker and the audience. So I would like to invite you, ma'am, for your keynote speech and presentation. Please, ma'am, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Becker, for inviting me to this. My name is Susannah Dawn, and I'm a speaker, an author, a consultant, where my focus is very much around the idea of moving beyond boxes, moving beyond those places where we often get stuck, where we often get placed by others. When I start off on this, I talk about how I got tired of always being told who I am, what I'm supposed to do, what I'm expected to be. My personality, who I am, just doesn't fit having to fit a box, because I'm so much more than a box. And each of us is so much more than any box could ever define. So when I talk about these boxes, and especially for those who feel stuck, it's understanding, having an awareness of what that place is that we're stuck. With a box, it can be a stigma, it can be a label, so you can use different terms for what the box is. I like it as the box because the reality is we make up these things. Boxes are not really these physical things that we're placed in. It's something that society places us in, something other people place us in. And when they do that, it's often because of some piece of us. Either it's our parents saying that this is what they expect us to be. It's somebody finds out that maybe you have a disability, or you're neurodiverse, or any of a myriad of reasons. They put you in a box and say, this is how I'm going to treat you. If you are this way, then you belong with these people. With those people, then they go in and they select what, for whatever narrative they want to create, they select an example, and that's how they paint everybody. The reality is, we are all such unique individuals. We are not the same. Even if you take a group of neurodiverse people, they're not the same. Neurodiversity covers multiple topics, multiple areas, and you can't say that they're all the same. This is what that box is. So one of the things that I look at is sitting down with somebody to say, what box are you stuck in? You can't move beyond a box until you understand what it is that you're dealing with. What I look at is the box. I could be placed in a neurodiverse box. Once I have the awareness of what that box is that I'm placed in, that opens the door to being able to start taking the steps. When we're put in these places, when we're labeled, we kind of lose control over who we are. Somebody else has that control. That's why we've been put aside in these boxes and treated however that box has been decided to be treated. That means that there is somebody else in control, and that control is either other people or sometimes it's our own fear. Take imposter syndrome. When we feel like we're an imposter, we end up putting ourselves in that box, and our fear is what controls us, or societal norms. We're in that box, and our fear basically says, stay here. When you stay here, this is where you're going to be safe. If you move outside of the box, this could happen. So understanding what that box is, understanding the name of the box, the purpose of the box, is the first step to being able to move beyond it. Once you know what it is, once you know who's got control, then you need to understand that you can take control back. There is no reason that you have to let somebody else control you in that box. I look at control as being what somebody else is saying to us, how they're viewing us. So let's say you've got a boss in the office, and he basically says things that hold you back. It's like, you're not good, you're an idiot. It really affects us, and we've given control of our lives when we allow that person's words to affect us, because we're not idiots. There isn't anybody who's an idiot. But when somebody's like, says it to you, it can be hard. You need to be able to not let that lock you away into a box. This is why when you have awareness of the box, you have awareness of who's in control, you also have awareness that you can take that control back. And that's what it's time to do, is take the control back. I like to work with people to help them see that they are not at the mercy of somebody else. They can take that control back. They can take back their life and be in charge of their own life. That is the awareness. And when you have awareness, then you're able to start taking the steps to reclaim your life, to move forward beyond the box. Another piece of the box, another piece of this situation is viewpoint. When we are stuck, we have one viewpoint. It's where we're at. It's what we see. This is where we need somebody else to be able to come beside us and help us to shift that viewpoint. Help us to see more than what we're in the middle of, what we feel stuck in. One of the ways I like to describe this, there was a movie called Kong Skull Island. Whether you've seen it or not, there's a scene in the movie where the main group of characters walk into this big hall, and there's these paintings on the wall, but they don't know what the paintings are. They don't make a picture. As they walk towards the middle of the room, the paintings come together and they create a picture of, in this case, it's King Kong. I like to look at this as a way to look at changing your viewpoint. You know you're stuck. You know where you want to go. You know you want to go, in this case, you're standing in the middle of the room. You want to go to where that painting is of Kong. That's where your goal is. That is what it means to get out of the box. Maybe it's going back to school. It's starting a new job. It's something different. It's going to shift your position outside the box. However, you don't know how to get there. You don't have a viewpoint other than that one spot you're at. When you move away from that middle spot, just like that movie, it's like go backwards. You're going backwards from that center where you see the picture, away from it, and you see it kind of dissolve and break apart. Then you start to see the path. The things that you thought were obstacles, you see that there's ways to get around them. The things that you see as obstacles might only be a speed bump. A different viewpoint allows you to see the path to move beyond the box, to move to the outside. And that viewpoint is so important, both for knowing that you can get out and for taking the first step. Then you have fear that you have to deal with, because oftentimes, and I've gone through this myself, I've been through this, stuck in the box, the awareness, being able to move the box, but oftentimes the thing that holds me back is fear, because fear knows us better than we know ourselves. Fear is the one that's telling you, don't go outside the box. Don't try something new. Don't think that things can change and be better, because fear's in control. The thing is, this box, whether it's a label or stigma, the reason I like the box is because it's the idea that we're enclosed in something. But the walls are not solid. There's cracks. You can see through the walls. You can see what's really on the outside of that box, where you want to go. Fear will use examples from our past. It will use things that it knows will trigger us to keep us safe in the box, because that's really what fear wants, to keep us safe. However, it also lies to us. It will say, if you go outside the box, this is what's going to happen. And it weaves this translucent web of lies with a grain of truth. And that grain of truth is there so that the web blurs everything when you look outside the box. You know where you want to go. You know what you want to do. Everything, though, is a blur except for that little piece of truth, which is the one thing that scares you the most. It's the one thing that's going to keep you inside the box, because fear knows that. But when you understand this is what fear's trying to do, then you can start to see clearer beyond the box. You can start to see that it's no longer blurring everything. Things are coming clear. And yes, that thing that you feared is a possibility. However, when you see the big picture, there is so much opportunity to move beyond that box, to go back to school, to change jobs, to move across country, move across the world, move across town, all these different things that you can do. This is where you get to start taking back control. You see that you can do it, and you stop listening to fear. Another thing about it is fear lives in the dark. It's got a very seductive voice. That's why it's holding you back. When you are able to let the light into that box, you see the truth outside. You see that you can start doing the things that you want, the things you were created to do. We all have a purpose in life. And the way to find that purpose, the way to start doing it, think about your own lives. You had to move beyond a box of some type to get to where you are now. You had to take those steps. You had to put the fear behind you and take control of your own life instead of letting others do it. Well, this is the same thing. And when you are seeing the truth outside, that you can start doing the things that you want to do, that's when there's more light in the box. And the more light that shows up in that box, that means there's less place for shadows, and our fears can only live in the shadows. It gives us the strength. It gives us the awareness and the ability to start taking those first steps to move beyond the box. And when you do this, that movement process, it's a reinvention. We're always reinventing ourselves. And a lot of people may not quite see that, but when you go to school, you learn stuff, you're reinventing, you're adding to your knowledge, you're changing things. When you change jobs, you're reinventing yourself to go into the new position. When you get married, when you have kids, all of this is part of reinvention. Reinvention can be small, reinvention can be huge. You can have a change in family, you can have a huge change. You totally change your life. That is the reinvention. Being able to move beyond the box is also an aspect of reinvention. To journey from that place of being stuck, to gain the knowledge you need, to meet the people you need to meet, to put it together, and then find that path, create that path to reinvent yourself. Because when you do this, in the box, you're being defined by others. You're defined by the box. When you move beyond the box, this is where the shine comes in. This is where your authentic self shows up. When you move into the world as your authentic self, you're not hiding things. You're not putting walls up. You're not creating your own box because you're afraid of what other people will say. You're afraid of what other people will do. This is being your authentic self. You're not letting others tell you what to do. You're standing there and you're doing the things that you want to do. You're doing the things that you were meant to do. When I talk about moving beyond the box, some of this also slides into the workplace in the aspects of belonging. When you feel like you belong someplace, you're no longer covering and hiding these things that you're afraid other people will treat you differently, because when they treat you differently because of neurodiversity or having a tattoo or having a non-regional accent, take your pick. You're covering yourself. You're not being your authentic self. But when you are, you're able to engage with other people. You're able to share ideas. When you're covering, you're wasting your energy trying to hide yourself. You're sticking yourself in a box and you're not letting yourself breathe. You're not letting yourself be yourself. This is so important, to be our authentic selves, to be who we were created to be, because we have a purpose in life. And that purpose is not to hide away in a box and just go through life because that's what we're told to do. So I take it right back to the beginning of what it's like to be told who I am, what I'm supposed to do. It locked me away for decades because I couldn't be who I knew I was. Nobody cared who I knew I was. It only cared that I was doing what they wanted me to do. When I finally stood up and said, I'm done with that. I'm going my own path because I know who I am. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know my purpose. Then suddenly my authentic self starts to shine. Suddenly the walls start falling around me and that box is disappearing. Suddenly I am moving beyond a box that had held me captive for so long, that had sucked my life, drained my life. And now I can go forward and say, I'm done with the past. Cut the chains to it, live in the present, and move forward. Because when we're in the present, we're not stuck to the past. That's also a part of the box. The box is our past. When we're outside the box, when we're being our authentic selves, when we're doing what we were created to be, that is what it means to move beyond the box and shine. Does anybody, I like to have this kind of interactive, so if anybody has any questions, I mean, please feel free to ask. Sure. We can start discussion.
Thank you, Susannah ma'am. Am I audible, sir? So thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful explanation. Now it's a time for discussion. Participants are requested. If you have any query or would like to share your views, please come ahead and discuss with keynote speaker. Dear participants. Welcome, Shukla sir. Please.
Hello. Good evening,
Hi.
Dr. Bedkar, sir, Prashant sir, and very good morning, I think, for you, ma'am, over there. Uh, yeah, thank you for your wonderful presentation you made. And really, it is a need of a time that we should go out of the box and do something. I will consider that box as a comfort zone. Many of the people wants to stay there in their comfort zone only. They don't want to live whatever the day comes. They try to finish it as usual way. but they don't want to go and try to the another way. So I think, we have to search for different paths. We should not follow each other only. It's like that race of ant. They walk one behind one another, and usually it is happening like that only. So I think one should think beyond that box. We should think beyond the books. We should think beyond the has been placed in front of us, and we should have our own orientation. Many of the times it happens that we follow the objective of organizations, we follow the objectives of our family members, we follow the objective of someone else, but we forget to follow objective of our oneself. So I think we are lost entities in this world. So definitely what you have said very correctly placed, that we should think out of box. So the wonderful explanation you had given, ma'am. Nowadays the youth, they are getting entangled with so many things. Nowadays they are having social media, they are having their own kind of a groups where there is no sharing and caring about the knowledge, and there is no new thought generation is coming. Very important thing is new thought. We have to think something out of box, and the youth are wasting their time, a lot of time, in something else only. So that youth energy is going west. In fact, it can be diverted and it can be directed towards some great goal. And I think we should not lead them, but they should lead themselves. So what do you think about this? How the youth can work out of box? That is my question, because I am a doctor and I'm a medical professor also, and we are motivating our students. So in this regard, what we can do, what kind of steps we should initiate. Please elaborate on this. Thank you very much. Otherwise, your presentation was really wonderful. We could get the message out of box. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you're right. A lot of it is comfort zone, is another way. That's why I tried to describe the box. I mentioned labels. I mentioned stigmas. You're totally correct on comfort zone. And some of the books that I've been in some anthologies, and I'm doing another one with one of my besties where this is what we're talking about, moving beyond the box. But when it comes to the kids right now, so many of them are they really have themselves cocooned in their own comfort zone, whether it's the video games, whether it's their own small groups. And for some of them, their whole life, I'm afraid, it feels like it's all online. It's all in the web. And we're losing that.
Even drug addiction.
Meet. And what was that?
I said, sorry, excuse. Even a drug addiction, nowadays they are getting entangled in addictions.
Right. And addictions, the phone is an addiction just as much as drugs nowadays for many of them, because that's all they do. Being able to get them beyond their comfort zone, I think part of that's going to be, it really begins with the awareness. It is understanding that you are stuck, that this is your comfort zone, that if you stay in this one place, your dreams, inside many of us, we already know what we're here for. We know what our purpose is, but when we're stuck, when we're not clear, we're letting our fears, or we're letting others tell us what to do. There's no chance for our dreams to even begin to become a reality, because we're stuck in that one place, and we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to shine. So I'm trying to think of the best ways, and I think some of the best ways, especially for kids, I'm not sure about the students now, because once they've hit their 20s, so many of them, it's hard to get them to change. You trying to get them to be aware of where they are and trying to get them aware of where they want to really go so that they can see what the steps are. But the younger generation, the tweens, the teens, these are the ones that, when we give them that ability to believe in themselves, to not be putting them in boxes, because I think that's probably a lot of it stems from childhood. A lot of these boxes, a lot of being stuck in the world. And I can say that from my own experience, because it was something that happened to me because of my parents around the age of 7, that I ended up being stuck in a box for so long, and it was hard to get out. I was aware, I knew what I needed to do, but I like to say that if knowledge is half the battle, then awareness is that first step. So we know what we need to do. Even these kids, many of them, they know what they need to do. They know what they want to do. But it's just like saying, yeah, I know I should not have that extra piece of cake. I know I should go for a walk. Do I do it? I know I should, but I don't do it. But the awareness and that deep understanding that this is what I need to do, this is the right thing, that is the first step to taking control and moving beyond the box. That is the first step for those who are stuck in their video world, stuck in all this other stuff, to understand that it's time to make a change. Don't keep doing business as usual. Start moving beyond that comfort zone, because really the box, the comfort zone, the labels, the stigmas, they're all the same name. They're all different names for the same thing. And this is what I want to see everybody doing, is moving beyond that box, putting that past behind, and being their amazing selves that I can see in everybody. So I hope that kind of helps.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I think that really requires a kind of a proactiveness of with oneself, one thing. And we are, nowadays we are just running behind something. We are not stopping, and we are not thinking, and we are not meditating, and we never think that whether I'm going in the right way or wrong way, but we keep walking. So I think that at some place we should wait, and we should think, and we should work out for those things, and I think that is how the things will move. So very correctly you have placed, ma'am. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Anybody would like to ask from the participants?
Because it's a topic that really can really grow. I touched on belonging, and that's a workplace aspect of boxes. So being able to
Thank you
see
so much,
ourselves.
Dr. Susannah Shukla, sir. I think there is no question, ma'am. No query from the participants. So thank you so much, Dr. Susannah Shukla, sir, for the question. And ma'am, you have answered it in a very clear manner, that have detailed about your question. So thank you. Now I request the chief organizer of an international conference, Honorable Dr. M. Betkar, sir, to conclude the session. Please welcome.
You've muted.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Honorable Chairperson of the International Conference. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. Sri Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur in Maharashtra State is organized this an internationally conference every day. Regularly, the series is running. Cooperation of all dear participants. The topic was today, it was very significant, and that was very related to our everybody's life. Move beyond the boxes and shine yourself. Now, this was the topic. Susannah ma'am have explained it very clearly, sincerely. She have said that one should not be confined, one should not be limited with the box, and different ways how to shine yourself and how to move your life ahead in the different world. So the topic was important, but ma'am have cleared it. It wasn't new for us. Covered every aspect, each details, point to point explanations was there. So I'm very, very thankful to you, madam, for being with us and have delivered a nice lecture within us. Thank you so much. I thank the chief organizer of the series, our ideal principal, Dr. M. Bedkar sir. Especially thanks Dr. Swanand Shukla sir and Sanjay sir, who have appreciated and discussed with the keynote speaker. And I should not forget to thank all those dear participants who joins regularly to the series and encourages us. So thanks a lot once again to you all. Now kindly request please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. With the kind permission of the chief organizer, I declare today's session is over. Thank you, Susannah ma'am. We are very happy to see you and listen your nice lecture in the series. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonu Kumar sir, my friend.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You can leave the session, ma'am. Susannah ma'am, you can
Okay.
leave and take rest.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Goodbye.
much.
थैंक यू प्रशांत सर, थैंक यू बेदकर सर, आप सभी को राम